I Walk Alone is a 1948 film noir directed by Byron Haskin, his directorial debut, and starring Burt Lancaster, Lizabeth Scott, and Kirk Douglas. This was the first of several films that Lancaster and Douglas made together over the decades, including Gunfight at the OK Corral, The Devil's Disciple, 7 Days in May, and Tough Guys, establishing the pair as something of a team in the public's imagination. Douglas was always billed under Lancaster, but, with the exception of I Walk Alone, their roles were usually more or less of the same importance. Plot: Frankie Madison and Noel "Dink" Turner are rum-running partners during Prohibition. They get into a shootout with some would-be hijackers after their liquor, attracting the attention of the police. The two men split up, but not before making a bargain that if one is caught, he will still get an equal share when he gets out of jail. Frankie is sent to prison for 14 years. When he is finally set free, he goes to see Noel. In the interim, Noel has built up a swanky nightclub. When the impatient Frankie shows up there, Noel stalls, sending him to dinner with his singer girlfriend Kay Lawrence. Noel instructs Kay to find out what Frankie is after. He learns that Frankie expects him to honor their old bargain. He tells his old partner that the deal only applied to their old nightclub, which shut down years ago. Dave, the only member of the old gang Frankie trusted, had him sign legal papers to that effect some time ago. Frankie's share by Noel's reckoning is less than $3,000. Furious, Frankie slugs Noel and leaves to recruit men to take what he figures he is owed. However, Noel had Dave tie up ownership of the nightclub between several corporations, with bylaws that make it impossible for him to hand over anything. Furthermore, the men supposedly backing Frankie actually work for Noel. Frankie is beaten up and left in the alley. Meanwhile, Noel informs Kay that he intends to marry wealthy socialite Alexis Richardson, explaining that he is doing so to ensure the success of the nightclub with which he has become increasingly obsessed. He sees no reason they cannot continue their relationship. Repulsed by the idea and strongly attracted to Frankie, Kay quits and, overcoming Frankie's suspicions, joins his side. Dave, aghast at how Frankie has been treated, tells him that he is willing to pass along what he knows, which is enough to bring Noel down. However, he foolishly tells Noel what he intends to do, and is killed by Noel's henchmen. The murder is pinned on Frankie. Evading a police manhunt, Frankie and Kay go to Noel's mansion. Though Noel is waiting with a loaded gun, Frankie manages to take it away from him. The three drive to the nightclub. By threatening Noel, Frankie extracts a written confession from him, which he gives to the police when they show up. Noel is taken away, but gets free and goes gunning for Frankie. He is shot dead by a policeman. Cast: Burt Lancaster as Frankie Madison, Lizabeth Scott as Kay Lawrence, Wendell Corey as Dave, Kirk Douglas as Noel "Dink" Turner, Kristen Miller as Mrs. Alexis Richardson, George Rigaud as Morris, Mark Lawrence as Nick Palestro, Mike Mazurka as Dan, the nightclub doorman, Mikey Knox as Skinner, Roger Nuri as Felix Walter, Freddie Steele as Tiger Rose. Reception. Critical response. Bosley Crowther, film critic for The New York Times, gave the film a negative review, also pointing out that the film may have violated the Motion Picture Production Code. He wrote, "It is notable that the slant of sympathy is very strong toward the mug who did that stretch, as though he were some kind of martyr. Nice thing. Producer Hal Wallace should read the code." The film today is regarded as a classic, usually due to the film's cast. A portion of I Walk Alone was used in 1982's Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, in which footage of Kirk Douglas is edited as if his character was speaking to Steve Martin's character of Rigby Riordan.